Going on, Jerome's. So you've seen the rest. Now it is time for the best. It's time for the most accurate NFL power rankings in the known universe. And if you disagree with any single one of the placements, you're wrong. How does it feel? So, of course, as always, we have the Ass Doza line. So any team above, pretty good. Any team below, ass. Thank you. And sometimes teams get tossed below the Ass Doza line because I get mad at them because they ruined some of my wagers or fantasy games. Don't know. But anyways, starting off as we always do at 32 and 33, disrespectfully, you got the Crooked Chicago Bears 32 and the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers 33. Hey, Packers. Got to play the Niners practice squad. Got to play the Dolphins below 50 degrees. Just awesome. I will say, if you could beat the Lions tomorrow, that would be ideal. Yeah, and then they got the Crooked Chicago Bears. Speaking of beating the Lions, the Bears had the Lions dead to rights, but then Eberflus is just like, who? So stupid. It's beyond just the last play and clock management. The way that they handled that entire drive was just so viscerally insulting to everything football. Eberflus is gone, and I know that Kevin Warren said that the Bears' job is going to be the most coveted in the NFL. Nah. 31, you got the Jets. Jets. Hey, the Jets, they got 21 points in the first half, and everyone's like, oh, where was this team all season long? And then, nope, not so much. So the Jets, even though our guy Kinkene Nwangu had a kick return for a touchdown, which is fantastic, Rodgers wilted, even though they threw one touchdown to Devontae Adams, Seahawks or whatever. 30 got the Giants, the G-Men. You're losing. Thanksgiving, I don't know, like, there's just nothing appealing about the Giants, especially with Sexy Dexy, Lawrence gone. I don't know, like, this is a listless team. Daboll and Shane should be fired, and I don't even know where they go from here, right? So they're probably going to have a top 2 pick. Maybe they take a quarterback, maybe not. Don't know. 29, you got the Raiders. So the Raiders actually showed some heart in this spot, but they just couldn't get it done at the end. Now, was that a false start or a legal shift? Don't know, but it's just crazy how the Chiefs tend to get some of those calls. But the Raiders, Daniel Carlson, maybe Zimmer was right. Just shanking all those kicks all over the place, man. But yeah, I think Antonio Pierce might be a one and done with the Raiders, which is unfortunate. 28. Well, here's the problem, too. When you hire the interim, like, that interim head coach was part of the regime that got the head coach fired. Now, that coach could be part of the problem, or maybe that coach was even working against the head coach. I'm not saying that about Antonio Pierce, but it just seems like the hit rate on interim head coaches turned head coaches is pretty low. Got the Patriots. So, the Patriots had a shot at the end, 68-yard field goal, right? But Drake May is kind of interesting. Still makes a ton of mistakes, but, so I'm re-listening to the book The Dynasty about the Patriots Super Bowl runs. Like, hey, Patriots fans have been spoiled for years. This is just a reversion back to the mean, where, the Patriots for years, decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they're just bad, minus the Bill Parcells years. 27, you got the Jaguars. So, I don't know, like, if Lawrence stays upright and doesn't get cheap-shotted, do they win this game? It's possible. How is Doug still employed, right? Also, how do they misuse Brian Thomas Jr. so badly? Like, BTJ should have had 3 touchdowns, but I digress. 26. Got the Tennessee Titans down 4 spots. They just got taken to the woodshed by the commies. The Commanders had a lot of pent-up anger. Hey, at least Westbrook Kane got another touchdown. Cool. Levis is not the answer. They do have some nice pieces, but I think they're still a ways away. 25. You got the Niners down 5 spots. So, beyond all the injuries, so Ayuk is obviously done for the season. McCaffrey's done for the year now. Again, his backup Jordan Mason got hurt too. Brock Purdy looks like ass. Thank you. Juszczyk is fumbling at the 1-yard line. This is an unmitigated disaster for the 49ers. And there's a surprise firing every single cycle. Could Kyle Shanahan be fired here? And he would be picked up in about 2 seconds. But the Niners Super Bowl window is closed. They got to pay Purdy. I don't even know if they want to pay Purdy, but it's done. Finito. 24, you got the Cowboys up 2 spots. Do you believe in Cooper Rush? Do you believe in Cooper after Rush? Sure. Micah Parsons believes, man. Maybe the Cowboys will run the table to do something interesting. 23, you got the Colts up 2 spots as well. Getting it done on the road. Anthony Richardson, I love him. Jonathan Taylor Thomas got respect there, even though he's a stupid Badger. I just don't really know the direction of the Colts right now. but I guess we'll see. The rest of the way will be a great determiner if Anthony Richardson is going to be the guy next year or not. Saints. So they just sort of moved up by default. They lost Taysom Hill to injury. It's really unfortunate, but not holding Servant home. I mean, this is a chance for them to do a little something, but obviously they're just playing out the string now with interim head coach Darren Rizzi. 21, you got the Browns. I mean, the Jameis Winston experience, man. 4 touchdowns, almost 400 yards passing, and 2 pick sixes and 3 interceptions. I actually lost a fantasy game in a league that I'm sort of whatever about, but it was hilarious because I only lost because Jameis threw 2 pick sixes. We could have weathered the storm for 1, but not 2. It's just really funny to me. 20, you got the Panthers up 4 spots. So the Panthers have been fighting hard, man. The Chiefs game, the Bucks game, and Bryce Young's looking good. Our guy Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen's looking damn good. I don't think it's going to be a gimme against the Eagles, man. I think the Panthers are going to give the Eagles a game, but we'll see. 19. Oh, also, I think that Bryce Young has solidified himself for at least next year. The Bengals. So, hey, tell me if you heard this before. Joe Burrow and the offense puts up huge numbers, but they still lose. I think that they may need a change in leadership. I think Zach Taylor could be fired. Lou Anarumo, the DC, obviously needs to go. They need to revamp the defense. They need to revamp the offensive line. They need to tag and trade Higgins finally. Maybe they'll extend Jamar Chase. I don't know. 19, you got the Falcons. So the Falcons lost a 4-point game where their defense didn't allow an offensive touchdown to Herbert and the Chargers, but because Kurt threw 4 interceptions, including a pick 6, not so much. But they enter the House of Pain on Sunday. It's going to be a good time. 17, you got the Texans. I just don't know, man. Like C.J. Stroud, I think straight up has the yips. Stroud's having problems. The defense is having problems. Al Shear is out here headhunting. I didn't like D'Amico Ryan's explanation about the situation either. So I don't know. Like the Texans, I mean, they're still 8-5, but they easily should be like 11-2, right? Because there's so many games that they just pissed away at the end, and they're a good team, but they're still below the Estoza line because I'm mad at them. 16, you got the Dolphins down 5 spots. I mean, there's clearly division in the locker room. Is this team soft? Are they not? Is Mike McDaniel the guy going forward? Don't know. But offensively, they're just inert outside of Achane. So I don't know. 15, you got the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are a talented team, man. Love me some Kyler. Trey McBride is going to be a stud defensively. They're getting after things, and it was just a near-run thing here against the Vikings. But, I mean, the Cardinals sneak into the playoffs, somehow win the division. They're going to be pretty sporty. 14, you got the Rams also up 1 spot, getting it done on the road. Puka Nacua done late, and is this one last ride for Stafford and the Rams? Certainly could be. And we've said that they make a lot of sense as a potential Sam Darnold tag and trade location. 13 got the Buccaneers. So they win in overtime. Was it a pretty game? No. But I always respect how Baker's just going to fight and claw you. Like Baker had a garbage game, but he refused to quit. They got a little lucky at the end with a fumble recovery. But there you go. 12, we got the Seahawks. Getting a win on the road, going from west to east is always tough. And they showed resiliency. They didn't say die. And even though they screwed up that one goal line drive, but Geno, I don't know, like Geno is high variance Baker, which is kind of saying a lot, right? But I do like Seattle overall. 11. Got the Broncos up 1 spot. So it sucks that stupid-ass Sean Payton is actually doing things, but that defense is legit. Nick Bonito should be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Bo Nix looking aight in spots in the system. So, I mean, the Broncos are looking kind of good, man, and maybe they'll make some noise in the playoffs. 10, you got the Commies up 6 spots, so they finally get back on the horse after losing 3 in a row. And, I mean, the Commies, I like the future. They definitely need to suture up a lot of things, but Jaden Daniels is indeed going to be the truth. 9, got the Chargers staying put at 8-4. So the Chargers, I mean, it wasn't their greatest showing. Defense did great out there. Harbaugh, there's an inherent toughness with this team, but also, I mean, they certainly benefit from Kirk Cousins just having target practice out there. 8, got the Ravens down 2 spots. So this 24-19 final score is just BS, right? So obviously, we all know that the Lamar Jackson had a garbage time touchdown to Isaiah Likely at the end to make the score look a little better. But, I mean, the Ravens just didn't show up. The Ravens just did not compete, and I don't know, like, you really don't know which Ravens team is going to show up. I don't trust this defense, but, I mean, you have Lamar, you have a chance. Also, where's Deontay Johnson? It's the worst trade ever. You got, and this is coming from the franchise of Herschel Walker. Oregon 12-0, played in the Big Ten title game. They just put the bank thing on the rival Washington. And the Ducks, I love Dan Lanning. I love the Ducks, man. 6, you got the Chiefs down 3 spots because eventually the dam's got to break, right? Eventually the Raiders don't get called for illegal shift instead of a false start, and eventually the Broncos don't shank the game-winning field goal, right? But yes, as a Vikings fan, I understand the irony of close games, but there's a difference between winning a close, tough game and just fluking all the way through, right? And I think the Chiefs are in that boat. But of course, the season's getting late now, and now this is Chiefs time. The Steelers at 9-3, they can win any way that you want. All right, so they want a shootout here. They can win a tough, rough and tumble defensive game. Tomlin is a leader of men. Russ is actually looking really damn good, and also defensively, like they have one of the best in the league and most opportunistic. Right, 4, you got the Vikings. Staying put at 4. Yeah, it was close against Arizona. Wait, hold on. That would be prophetic. If we predicted 23-22 again against Atlanta, but. The Vikings, the chips were down. First half was sort of a no-call, no-show, sleepwalking through the game, and then they stepped up when they needed to. That's a hot of a champion right there. Next up, you have 3. Hey, we actually talked about the Lions, knocking them down a peg or 2. And like we said, there's something about winning tough. There's something about flukes. And you look at the Vikings games, winning tough. And you look at the Lions versus the Texans, where the Texans just imploded, as well as the Bears should have won this game. Just tiptoeing through the tulips, just like the Chiefs. Ain't nobody scared of the Lions, especially as injuries start piling up for Detroit. 2, you got the Eagles. Sucks to say, but respect. I mean, they've won 8 in a row. That defense is looking really damn legit. Offensively, there's that O-line is starting to solidify. They're not missing Kelsey anymore, and Eagles could be tough. Saquon should be in the MVP conversation. There you go. Lastly, number 1, you got the Bills. So, I mean, everyone was wrong about the Bills. Everyone thought, like, hey, losing Diggs and Gabe Davis and also most of their secondary, and the Bills are going to be behind the 8 ball, but Buffalo is a train right now. They're a Mack truck, and Josh Allen is driving. It's gonna be rough. I was like, I'm Josh Allen. I'm engaged to an amazingly talented person, and also I score 3 different touchdowns. Whatever, man. But that's it. Week 14 NFL Power Rankings, the most accurate power rankings in the known universe. If you disagree with any single one of the rankings, you're wrong. How does it feel? Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.